Hi, welcome to part 4 on our segment related to African art. We've been looking at African masks. In the sub-Saharan Africa, only men are typically permitted to wear masks on ritual occasions. And this is a black helmet mask that is exclusively worn by women. So there's that exception I was talking about earlier. The practice of women wearing masks seems to have been brought to several populations of Sierra Leone, Liberia, such as the Timene, Gola, and Va, by the Mende and Mande speaking people from the northern Savannah region. Because of the similarity of mask styles and the inherent pathways of noted carvers, it is difficult to assign some masks to a particular ethnic group. In the 19th century, the Mende were organized into independent chiefdoms. Families and individuals were ranked according to their land use rights. Industrious rice farmers, the Mende number approximately 2 million people. The rituals of their women's society, called Sande, require the appearance of masked figures. Within such a large population, there are many variations in local practices and carving styles, but there is a broad agreement on the nature of the mask itself. So you can see these are two masks, and again, they sort of vary in terms of style a little bit and hairstyle, but they're, definitely they have similar characteristics in terms of these kind of squished little faces, these kind of split eyes, representations of scarification, and the sort of unusual neck. According to the Dubinskas, the Mende say a finely carved Soa mask is Nyande, good, pretty, beautiful, and aesthetically pleasing. So again, we also have to think in mind that these representations that we're seeing are what African culture considers, these representations of idealized beauty, which include the following. So a lot of these elements are included in sort of the variations of masks that you'll see. Usually there's a very full forehead that's emphasized, and that is to denote wisdom, intelligent. The sort of downcast, squinty eyes are supposed to represent modesty. The shiny black color of the overall mask is supposed to represent mystery. There are neck rings incorporated. This is symbolic of health and prosperity, as well as the mask's mythic rise out of the water. Often you'll see animals or zoomorphic forms incorporated. Birds are messengers between spirits and humans. Fish, snake, and tortoises. And this is the riverine home of Sowo. Antelope horns are supposed to represent good medicine. You'll sometimes see a three-legged cooking pot, and that represents Sowa, a respiratory of women's knowledge and a symbol of domesticity. So again, they vary. So I'm going to show you a few different examples. So as I stated before, the mask is supposed to present an idea of feminine beauty admired by the Mende. Elaborate hairstyle, full forehead, small facial features. The gleaming surface signifies healthy, glowing skin, as well as that sort of mystery in terms of symbolism. The swelling, fleshy rolls alternating with deep incised lines at the neck or the back of the head are considered marks of beauty and a promise of fecundity. The neck is broad to fit over the head of the woman who will wear it. Sande officials commission male carvers to produce the masks in secret. The surface is smoothed with the rough leaves of the ficus tree, then dyed black with a concoction made of leaves. Before use, it is anointed with palm oil to make it shine. Modern carvers also sometimes use shoe polish. whether this confining mask, the wearer also has to be a good dancer and an official of the Sande. They usually put on a thick cotton costume covered with heavy fiber. I have an image of that. And these strands of fiber are dyed black. And the dances may last over 2 hours. The sacredness of the mask lies in its deeper meaning as a representation of the long-deceased founder of Sande society. In pre-colonial times, women could hold the position of chief of a village cluster. Until the 1970s, women politicians continued to use the Sande society to support and further their careers in modern government. So the costume worn with the black mask, again, is a layer of rafa fibers that have been dyed black. And these are attached to the lower portion of the neck as well as to a black cloth shirt or gown worn over the body. The sleeves are sewn shut and long stockings or men's shoes are worn. No part of the body is left exposed, for revealing the body would expose the human agency behind the mask to the eyes of non-members and would also allow spirits to enter the human dancer rather than the mask. And again, these masks are, in a way, very similar to this idea of the transformation masks that we looked at with the North American Indian when we were looking at Mesoamerican art or indigenous art of the Americas. Masked dancing provides a festive mood appropriate to the completion of several stages of initiation. Masks are seen in public at several key moments during the process. Their appearance serves to announce to families of the people initiating the ritual that certain stages have been successfully accomplished and that the preparation of food and gifts of money must be completed. A mask may collect food from the community to take back to where its initiation is taking place. She comes to the community to announce the imminent coming out of the girls, and she leads them into town on their first visit after the process has started. Finally, she leads the richly dressed girls into town when they have completed their training and are released. This is the high point of the entire process, for the girls are now recognized as marriageable adult women. The mask may appear at other times to bring justice to offenders of Sande law, to perform in respect at the funeral of an important leader of the society, and to participate in ceremonies in which a new mask is initiated into the work of Sande. Nowo, N-O-W-O, is accepted as a living presence. The spirit speaks not through words, but through the language of dance, referring to moral and social doctrines of beauty, serenity, dignity, control, order, and balance. Dance movements exaggerate the powers of ordinary women and dramatize the ideas of feminine beauty. So we're going to continue our discussion on art that moves, and we're going to be looking at a particularly rare mask. It's an elephant mask. And again, this idea of masquerade is something that you can think of in terms of performance art. So our segment on performance art and happenings that we looked at with 20th century movements might be an interesting cross-current to explore. The works that you see here were not meant to be seen as isolated sculpture forms, but were part of a whole. Again, keep in mind that this included the costume, the music, the song, food, audience, and interaction, and above all, movement. Masked performers had a variety of purposes. Both of the masks displayed here were performed to support political authority, but in different contexts. I'm sorry, this is just one. It's just a close-up of one mask. The Bamalek masquerade is an assertive but controlled and dignified performance worthy of a royal court. The elite Kusi masking society controls the right to own and wear elephant masks, since both elephant and beadwork are symbols of political power in the kingdoms of the Cameroon grasslands, which is where the society is located. The Kusi society assists the king, also known as the Faun, F-O-N, in his role as preserver and enforcer of a rigid socio-political hierarchy. This is a very rare Sapo mask and would have been used in performances enacting a terrifying force from the forest. In a society historically without kings or centralized states, the masks may have exerted the will of village elders by imposing economic prohibitions or organizing hunting parties to provide for and protect the village. And here's an example, a contextual photograph where you can see them wearing. So I think they are quite very dramatic and a little disturbing looking. So elephants are the world's most commanding land creature, unsurpassed in grandeur and power. Thus elephant masks, while rare in Africa, are fully appropriate symbols of important leaders, or at least their respected deputies or messengers. The societies that use these masks, in fact, act as agents or chief control as formal royal emissaries. Elephant societies that originated in Bamalik and spread elsewhere in the grasslands consist of 3 graded ranks attained by wealth. These elephant masks signify kingship and wealth, were worn by powerful members of the Kusi Regulatory Society, which included members of royalty, wealthy title owners, and ranking warriors of the Bandjun Kingdom of Western Cameroon. In the past, payment of a slave or a leopard pelt to the chief who owns the society was necessary for entrance to the highest rank. The glass beads used on earlier masks or 19th century traded beads of Venetian or Czechoslovakian manufacture, glassed and were used as well in exchange for slaves. Elephant mask costumes were thus called things of money, since the beads were both objects and symbols of wealth. Elephant masks comprise cloth panels and hoods woven from plantain fiber over rafa. On this background, multicolored beads are stitched in geometric patterns. The basic form depicts a salient feature of an elephant, a long trunk and large ears. The hood fits tightly over the masker's head, and 2 hanging panels, one behind and one in front, partially conceal the body. The front panel is the elephant trunk, and the 2 large stiff circles hinged to the either side of the head are its ears, which flap as the masker dances. While the mask symbolizes an elephant, the face is human. Eye holes provide visibility, and a nose and mouth with teeth are normally present. Such masks, again, are worn with robes of dark woven fiber covered with small fibered knobs of indigo and white tie-dye, considered royal cloth. The robes contrast greatly with the masker's bright red legs. And again, I'm sorry, this is a black and white photo dyed with cam wool. Costumes also include beaded vests with broad belts, leopard pelts attached at the back. Since a chief owns or controls the masking society, both leopard and elephants are metaphors for symbolic impersonation. And there's a lot more about this masking ceremony and dance that I will let you guys read in my lecture notes when I post them. But really the beauty of these masks is largely in their colorful beaded patterns. So you see the use of dark blue or red backgrounds provide a foundation for basic geometric designs laid out in white, creating a striking contrast. And again, the designs really show variety and degree of order and complexity as well. So these masks also become sort of a symbol of status. Again, the lavish use of colored beads. Cowrie shells is also something incorporated, display the wealth of the member of the Kusi society, and its color and patterns express the society's cosmic and political functions. Cowrie shells are also symbols of wealth and power, and were used in some examples of these masks. Black denotes the relationship between the living and the dead. The white color refers to the ancestors and potent medicine, and red symbolizes life, women, and the institution of kingship. The dominant triangle designs on both on these masks represent leopard spots, the leopard being considered a royal animal. And a symbol of power and mastery like the elephant. The members of the Kusi Regulatory Society belong to the royal court and enforce the laws of the kingdom in all spheres of life. The society gather today during funeral ceremonies of its members and for a public celebration of kingship to display the Banju kingdom's power and wealth. And so this is what's occurring in this photograph. Okay, in this segment, we're going to be looking at shrine figures. This is a shrine figure from the Igbo people in Nigeria. So the personal shrine reflects the great value of the Igbo place on individual achievement. Personal shrines are created in the form of figures known as ikinga, to honor the power and skills of a person's right hand, as the right hand holds the hoe, the sword, and the tools of craftsmanship. So I guess if you're left-handed, you're kind of out of luck. The basic form of an ikinga is a human figure with horns symbolizing power, sometimes reduced only to a head with horns on a base. So again, these figures, have different variations. So ikinga literally means place of strength, and this tribe is found, these kind of shrines are found among the Igbo people in southeastern Nigeria. And the ikinga is one of the most powerful symbols of the Igbo people and the most common cultural artifact. Ikinga is mostly maintained, kept or owned by men and occasionally by women of high reputation and integrity in societies. It comprises of someone's chi, a personal god, his nadachi, ancestors, and aka, ikinga, right hand, Ike, or Ik, I-K-E, power, as well as spiritual activation through prayer and sacrifice. So, Ikinga is a personal god or of human endeavor, achievement, success, and victory. Ikinga is grounded in the belief that the power for a man to accomplish things is in his right hand. It also governs over industry, farming, and blacksmithing, and it's celebrated every year with an annual Ikinga festival. It is believed by its owners to bring wealth and fortune as well as protection. So the most popular kind of Ikinga is a warrior Ikinga, and it usually depicts a well-developed human figure with horns and a fierce expression. It is seated on a stool, holding objects in both hands. The right hand holds a knife with a pronounced handle and a slightly curved blade. The left hand, a tusk, or more often a severed human head with eyes, nose, and a mouth bulging out of the concave of the face. The warrior Ikinga corresponds to the stage of life in which men are expected to demonstrate their military prowess. Owned by many of the younger members of the tribe, it depicts the ideal young man, robust, wearing the warrior's grass skirt and holding a knife and a severed human head. This pose used to be seen in warrior groups when they performed dances. The knife is always held in the right hand, called the aka ikinga, the ikinga hand, and the ikinga is also called a shrine to the right hand. In recent times, the overt violent elements of the severed head and knife have been replaced by metaphorical ways as symbols of aggression. The most characteristic of all iconic elements of the Ikinga, again, are the horns, also referred to as Opi, O-P-I. And so there's an Igbo proverb that says, the ram goes into a fight head first. That is, one must plunge into a venture in order to succeed. And so you can see sort of the sort of powerfulness of the horns. And again, we've seen bulls and other animals depicted in ancient Near Eastern art, and Egyptian art. And again, horned creatures often denote some sort of idea of divinity or the spirit world. And so, again, there are lots of cross currents I think you could make with these Ikinga shrine figures. All right, I'm going to stop here. We will have part 4. In this segment, we'll be looking at a memory board, and we're going to be looking at a reliquary, an African reliquary, and some other sculptural objects. So stay tuned.